SPI, or Storm Products Inc., which includes the brands of Storm, Rotogrip, and 900 Global, have discontinued one ball per brand. We'll talk about what they are and what you might be able to replace them with. First off, from 900 Global, the Harsh Reality Pearl. It released on July 26th of last year, so it made it 9 months and change. This one was a truer heavy oil shiny ball in the sense that it had a very strong cover, and despite being shiny, it still hooked quite a bit and was on the smoother side for a shiny ASIM, quite a bit like the Exotic Gem. This one and the Solid were the first Reality Line balls to feature AI, and they both had the early AI heavy chuggy roll to them, but they weren't lazy or pukey. They were just more true traditional heavy oil balls that were early and controllable and kept you in the pocket on long and heavy conditions. It's not particularly attractive, but it's not ugly. The ball reaction isn't flashy or particularly visually impressive. It was just a solid ball that kept you in play and in the pocket. Unfortunately for it just wasn't quite as versatile, naturally, as other balls like the Attention Star, that while not that strong, was more useful more often. Staffers can afford to drill more specific options for specific circumstances, but the vast majority of people are looking for balls that can wear a lot of different hats, so to speak. When you ask, well, why don't they make balls like this or like that? This ball is one of the reasons. Some balls are more specific use. When you make something for really heavy or really light oil, it's just not going to come out of the bag nearly as much as stuff that's more in the middle. It's a ball that technically needed to be there and through no real fault of its own ran its course fairly quickly, and especially now that the Origin is here, it's just not competitive anymore. Speaking of the Origin, that's the easy replacement option. I think it's definitely sharper or more dynamic, but it's every bit as strong and more versatile, lets you move around quite a bit more. Better is relative, but the Origin does everything the Harsh Pearl did, and then some. Next from Rotogrip, the Optimum Idle Pearl. It released on August 23rd of last year with the ball that Storm is discontinuing, hint hint, so 8 months and change. A little shorter than you might expect. A year is about the typical lifespan for a bowling ball anymore, and I thought this one was fairly popular, plus more useful, maybe even than the original Optimum Idle. I know everyone got excited for that one, but then I didn't see as many as I expected, while on the flip side I didn't expect the Pearl to really take off, but I see them everywhere. I felt like it was quietly successful, and while again, very strong cover, the Exotic Gem cover, rounder and smoother for a shiny ball, it seemed like it was a jack of all trades. It could hang out on heavy oil, but also be of use on drier conditions than you'd expect. The shot shape was very balanced. It wasn't super clean and flippy, but not early and slow. It was just kind of right in the middle. I felt like it was an evolution of the Marvel Pearl, and unfortunately no direct or even near replacement exists in any of the lines right now, in my opinion. The Zen 25 on paper should be the closest, but it's quite a bit cleaner and a handful of boards weaker. The Phase AI is weaker and a significantly different shape, so you'd have to go to a different company to find a replacement, which I think would be in Raptor Rush or GB5 Pearl territory. Finally from Storm, the Summit Ascent. It, like the Optimum Idle Pearl, has been quietly successful. I don't think anyone was necessarily hyped about it when it announced, but then they found it surprisingly useful. It ended up being a medium-strength, kind of bigger version of the IQ Tour, or half step down from the Phase 2, one of those Idle Pro or Exponent type of balls that just seems to be in play a lot on a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Now, most people don't bowl on a lot of volume, but a lot of weaker balls can kind of be over-under, so you need that stronger core to help control the lane. You just don't always want the stronger cover to go with it, and that's where the gap always seems to be. You have the hustles and the high roads, and then for some reason go straight up to the Optimum Idles and Zens and Phase 2s, but you don't have a lot of the Idle Pros or Summit Ascents. However, again, it just wasn't one of those big-ticket, exciting balls that's going to draw people to it. Once again, bowling balls get discontinued because people don't buy them. It has nothing to do with how good a ball is, and we're past the point of IQs and high roads and Venom Shocks getting held onto. Even the Zen got discontinued, even though it owned the industry for a solid year and a half, so it just is what it is. There's really nothing right now that replaces this one either unless you go to a different company, and even then, you're not going to find anything that looks that similar on paper. It's going to be something like a Venom Shock. I think a Hammerhead would be close to, but it's definitely stronger, etc. Anyway, I've rambled on about this too much already. I didn't really need to do all this, but for the people out there that take things more seriously, here you go. These are my thoughts. Things getting discontinued used to mean that they were getting replaced. That's not necessarily true anymore. It's mostly numbers and sales, and if something didn't sell well, that generally means the market isn't interested, so it might even mean, okay, well, we aren't doing that again. So as always, we'll see what happens next. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.